Just Joe Burrow news. Um, no secret to anyone that I love the Bengals. I will always root for them to go to and win eventually a Super Bowl. Is this the year? I mean, they have a 2-0 start. That coach seemed to be really enthusiastic about. They never have these starts in the Burrow Taylor reign. Okay. And this news this morning that he will require surgery. It's going to keep him out till about December. 3 months is what the streets are saying. I just think about what a bummer that must be for him. Right. I think about that. I think about his fans, his family, the foundation, the people that I've gotten to interact with a little bit. This is a dog. This is somebody who wants to be out there. This is somebody who is really tough despite the crazy internet, maybe thinking otherwise this morning. But I do want to make it clear to everyone, this is not, it's a little subjective because I believe and I love them. It's true. And love maybe blinds things, but they're very much in it. This isn't a season ending situation. And I think it could have been a lot freaking worse. Okay. And the nice thing to see is when these waves of adversity are thrown at a team, you let other people step up and do things for you. And you saw it yesterday with the Niners and Mac Jones, and backup quarterbacks being suitable. When this injury happened, I literally thought, oh my gosh, my head went to Browning against the Jags in 2023. He's been there. He's done this now. He's 4-3 as a starter. He wins yesterday against Jacksonville. Yet again, he sort of settled in. And I was looking at how proud Zach Taylor was in this press conference. It was not a somber tone. It was not a sad day. And that must be a tough line to walk, but I was not getting woe is me. Let's wrap it up. It's happened again from the Bengals leadership, which is really, really matters. And I will say, this is why you do pay these stars to sort of pick it up when one of them goes down. Joe went down, leaves the game. You have T making this incredible touchdown grab, this incredible catch. Jamar stepping up, Trey Hendrickson with he slapped around Trevor in the beginning of the game. Then he closed it out for this team as well. And I will say the resilience out of Browning, who settled in after throwing 3 interceptions. The fact that they win this game after 3 interceptions, losing Joe Burrow, it says a lot about what this team is made of. And Browning, to his credit, and he was at Jeff Ruby last night, I heard, celebrating as he should. And he'll now get his starts. And maybe even more chemistry, which is nice to have depth in that way. And he's one of the better backups in the league. He never got rattled. He kept firing. Brilliant comeback down the stretch. That's the kind of stuff you should celebrate and be excited about after the game, despite losing Joe. And to dig deep and reach deep and sort of get yourself to where you need to be to start the season 2-0 and on top of the division as we speak. Now, the Ravens looked really good yesterday. So that was a tough one to watch as this was unfolding with Cincinnati. But they don't have as good of a record as Cincy right now. Browning is I have faith in Browning. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I have faith in him. I think he can do his thing and they can still be productive. And he gives them a chance over these next couple of months. I do think that they'll probably add a quarterback for depth. I think I'd like to see, Cousins is out there. Okay. This offensive line is a problem. Cousins could be suitable for that, but Jameis would be so fun, right? So fun behind Browning, I'm saying. So if those of you already jumping all over me on threads and Twitter saying, no, we have our guy, we trust, I'm in on Browning, but I do think adding the idea of depth and reaching out and doing their due diligence. I'm happy to hear those little rumors and ravens flying around about them seeing what's available, who's available, and how that can shake out. This has to be said, though, as we're talking about, they're okay because they have these pieces that they paid that Joe pushed to get paid too, right? Openly. I want T back will work. I want Trey, Trey should get paid, all these things. Jamar, his guy, obviously. I don't know how much pushing has gone in the direction of the offensive line or why it continues to be this banging my head against the table thing from fans that I very much have sympathy for. I get it that he has, it's the definition of insanity a little bit, right? We can admit, because you pay, you have your most important asset and then protecting him has to be a thing. And this line, and I'm not singling anybody out, but, and they this morning, they're beating themselves up, I'm sure, a ton anyway, and it wasn't some crazy hit on him, but it's just the story, right? It's the story year in year out. This is year 6. It's kind of mind numbing, right? This line is ranked bottom 6 every year that Joe has been there, all 6 seasons. And we're 2 weeks in and he's hurt now. Um, and I think that, they haven't found a way to run the ball consistently to sort of maybe take and alleviate some of those things. They're going to have to figure this out with Browning so he doesn't get hurt. It's why do you think they're calling to add quarterbacks? Because they're like, oh, snap, this could happen in a second with Browning. There's this idea, though, that I'm seeing on Twitter that these idiots are just tweeting and whatever that, he's made of glass and he can't stay healthy and like he's overrated because he's always injured. Or Browning looks just as good. This is, as we all know, we have got to do a better job of protecting him. He is tough. Okay. The best overall O-line ranking this team has had with him at quarterback is 27th in the National Football League. That is not okay. As far as the timeline, he could be back for the last 4 to 6 games of the season, somewhere around the first or second Ravens game, which I'd love to see him back for. That's I'm championing. I know this next month of the schedule, it's very brutal. Oh my gosh, they've got 5 straight against playoff teams, 3 of those on the road. Bengals have a 2-0 head start. Zach Taylor seemed really juiced about this performance and the guts his team showed. And they've got, some playmakers on defense that will make the plays to tilt it and get them the win. They got to tread water, and let Joe come back to final month. So I still really, really like their chances. Let's see what FanDuel Sportsbook has to say. Do they? No, they don't. Shoot, they really don't, huh? Plus 800. They dropped to that to win the North. Ooh, they're behind the Steelers. Yowza. They're plus 176 to make the playoffs. That's around where the Seahawks and Raiders are. Wow, if you do believe in Browning, if you believe in this team, that is quite a value to be had over on FanDuel Sports. We're going to have to put a call into those overlords over there later today. Like, I understand Hamilton. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, I guess with the way the schedule's looking, no Joe Burrow, but that is a huge drop. They were ahead of the Steelers this entire offseason. And to take that significant a drop behind them and, the playoff odds, they were favored to make the playoffs all season too. And after a 2-0 start, they've fallen that far. Doesn't show a lot of faith in Browning, but as you said, I think from what we've seen from Browning, I think those odds should be better. Yes, it's going to be an uphill battle, but those odds should be better.